All right, let's just take a deep breath just for a second, tune out all that noise of the world around you. Welcome to today's Explainer, where we're going to be diving into a journey that's honestly deeply personal, but also universally profound. We're talking about reclaiming your cosmic power. Right now, we live in an era where the modern world is quite literally actively designed to pull you away from your center. So today, we're mapping out exactly how to tune back into your own frequency and why doing so might just be the absolute most vital work you can undertake right now. Let's get into it. So look at this quote. They have reached the highest skies by stealing your attention. I mean, wow, it's an intense, undeniable truth that we just have to confront. Right now, at this exact moment, your focus and your energy, they are being relentlessly harvested. Every endless scroll, every manufactured outrage you see online, it's a highly engineered system. And what's it doing? It's feeding empires built by billionaires and, let's be real, absolutely ridiculous people on social media. They're reaching their thrones using your most valuable currency. This isn't just a casual observation, it is an urgent, flashing red light warning to stop financing the external world with your own life force. Think of it like a massive tug of war. On one side, we've got the external drain. The noise, the influencers, that endless, exhausting cycle of comparison that just pulls your energy outward into a total bottomless pit. But on the other side, resisting all of that, is the internal reservoir. That's your true self. That's the place where your actual real power resides. And here's the absolute kicker. Every single moment you spend feeding that external drain is a moment you are literally starving your internal reservoir. We have got to violently cut the cord to that drain. We need to redirect our supreme focus back to our inner being because, guys, that is the only place where true power can actually be cultivated. And that brings us to our next phase, the internal cleansing. As we pull our energy back from all that outside chaos, this is where the profound, quiet work really begins. Now, to actually do this cleansing, we have to face the music about what we're holding on to in those dark corners of our minds. We're talking about incredibly heavy burdens here. Resentment, hostility, low self-esteem, guilt, shame, the humiliation of yourself and of others. Just think about those words for a second. You can almost feel how incredibly heavy they are, right? These aren't just, bad feelings. They are toxic burdens that actively block your potential. You literally cannot be a clear conduit for higher energy if you're chained to the ground by shame or hostility. Shedding these specific toxic emotions isn't just a good idea. It is an absolute requirement for cleaning out the heart. So how does this work? It's basically the physics of the soul. Step 1, you intentionally cast away those negative emotions we just talked about. This creates a vacuum. Step 2, as a direct result of that release, your mind and your heart become pristine. They become light and totally clean. And then, step 3, only in that state of absolute clarity does it become possible to receive messages of higher and infinite energy. It makes perfect sense, right? You just can't fill a cup that's already packed full of mud. And when you actually do that heavy lifting, when you clear out the vessel, well, this is the astonishing payoff. The text says, you will be astonished by the speed at which your desires are achieved. I mean, that is huge. The friction we constantly experience in life, the delays, the struggles, that nagging feeling that what we want is just miles out of reach, a lot of times that friction is actually caused by our own internal blockages. When your heart and mind are clean and finally aligned with higher energy, that resistance just drops to zero. You stop fighting the current, and suddenly your desires start manifesting with astonishing speed. Moving on to the next section, the cosmic connection. We've cleared the static, and now we arrive at the ultimate destination, where you step fully into your power. But how do we actually make that connection? Well, the instruction here is remarkably clear. It says, with absolute trust, surrender your lack and problems to the universe and the higher energies. Now, I'm not going to lie, this is arguably the most challenging part of the entire process, absolute trust. True cosmic power doesn't come from forcing outcomes or, gripping the steering wheel as hard as you can. It comes from surrender. By handing over your perceived problems, you're basically releasing the ego. You're saying, hey, I've done the work to cleanse my heart, I trust this higher energy, and I'm simply no longer going to carry these burdens alone. That right there, that is the key that unlocks the door to infinite universal support. Okay, so once that door is finally unlocked, how do we keep it open? The answer is the practice of gratitude. You have to be thankful for the smallest blessings and equally thankful for the greatest blessings. Gratitude is essentially the frequency that maintains your connection to that higher energy. It's literally the language of the universe. When you're genuinely grateful for the tiny things, like, I don't know, a quiet morning or just a really good cup of coffee, and you're equally grateful for the massive wins, you are continually signaling to the universe that you live in a state of abundance. Gratitude is what locks that cosmic connection into place and makes sure the channel stays wide open. Which brings us to our final, vital mandate. It's a simple but profound question. Will you let them extinguish your light? That external drain we talked about earlier, it is always going to try to pull you back in and muddy up your newly cleansed heart. People, circumstances, the endless digital noise, they'll just keep vying for your attention. But now, you actually know the mechanics of your own power. You know exactly how to reclaim your focus and plug into infinite energy. So the choice is entirely yours. Are you going to surrender your focus to the noise, or are you going to protect your internal reservoir and let your cosmic light burn brighter than ever before? Take that question with you today. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer.